Hi, it's Jeff Morris here. I like to go down to the boat ramp sometimes with a cup of coffee and watch the boats coming and going. Just about every single time that I do sit down at the boat ramp, there's always a couple of boat owners that turn up and start their motor up with the boat still on the trailer, out of the water, completely dry, leave it running for sort of 20-30 seconds, and then turn it off, put the boat into the water and push off. Now, yes, I believe it's a good idea to run your motor first, but if you're going to do this, make sure that you do not run it dry without any water supply to the outboard engine. If you are going to run it at home on the muffs with the hose connected before you tow it down to the ramp. Now, the reason for this is the water pump in your outboard motor is a rubber impeller, and it sits in your gearbox. Now, if you don't have any water going to your outboard, rubber impeller runs in a steel housing, and the water actually lubricates your water pump. So if you have no water supply going to it, you've got rubber on steel, and it only takes 20 seconds to burn that impeller out. Now, if you don't run it for 20 seconds, you might only run it for 3 or 4 seconds. All of those 3 or 4 second runs over time will drastically reduce the life of your water pump, especially if your motor's been sitting for a couple of weeks, and that water pump will actually be bone dry. If you start it up and run it, it's going to wear out that impeller, and you actually notice this a lot when you're pulling the water pump off and servicing it. You can see on top of the water pump it'll literally be burnt. It'll be very, very perished. And normally when you talk to the guys, yep, they do fire it quickly on the trailer before they push it into the water. So this is a big no-no if you want to get any life out of your outboard water pump. So if you're going to be running it, run it at home on the hose supply, warm your engine up, take it down to the ramp, and you're good to go. Okay, do not get into the habit of starting it up on the trailer first. You will drastically reduce the life of your water pump. It might fail on you when you're out on the water. You might push into the water, push off, it'll be running fine, but then when you're driving along, you might snap a blade off. It might be worn. The problem with this is normally you're not looking around at your telltale when you're driving the outboard. Sometimes if your outboard water pump fails, but not enough so that it doesn't pump any water, but it just pumps enough water, sometimes what can happen is the outboard the temperature of the outboard doesn't reach the critical temperature to set your overheat alarm, but it might be sitting just below that, so running very, very hot. Sometimes I think about 108 degrees Celsius is what your overheat alarm sets off at, and your engine might be running at 100 degrees as opposed to at wide open throttle on an outboard motor. They normally run about 40 degrees, so your engine is going to wear out a lot faster. Sometimes it can actually overheat and seize the engine at those temperatures without actually setting your overheat alarm off. So your water pump system in your outboard motor is a very, very important part of it. So I can't stress enough not to run your motor without any water supply going to it. So if you have, it might pay to book your outboard into your local service provider, get them to drop the gearbox off and check your impeller. Or I've got a video on there about 90 horsepower Mercury impeller, how to replace it yourself. I will be putting more videos up as time goes on. If you have a certain motor that you want me to do a video on, send me an email and request it, and I'll see if I can find one of those engines to replace the water pump on and do a video for you. If you want to look at my other tips and advice, visit www.outboard-boat.com. I'll put a link at the bottom of this video, so check that. Check out there, I've written a lot of articles about outboard maintenance, boating advice, what fuels and oils to run. There's also a couple of cool boating games that I've got on there as well. So check that out, outboardboat.com. Send me any emails with any questions or topics you'd like me to do a tip on. And yeah, thanks for watching.